Hello everyone, so this is Vanessa S. Salva from BSN Social Studies. So I am here to report the philosophy of education and personal philosophy of teaching, specifically idealism. So from your own understanding, what is idealism? From the word idea. So, idealism is a very old philosophical and it has exercised a potent influence on the mind of a man throughout the ages. Even in the modern times, when people are not inclined towards accepting any dogmatic creed of philosophy, idealism has a certain attraction which appeals to the human's mind and thereby exercise a great influence on human thinking. So, idealism is when you are idealistic. You dream of perfection, whether in yourself or other people. For example, you might have the idealistic goal of bringing an end to childhood poverty in the world. The adjective idealistic describes someone whose plans or goal of helping others are lofty, grand, and possibly unrealistic. So that is idealism. The word idealism is derived from two distinct sources, the idea and the ideal. Idea means true and testified knowledge. The word ideal stands for the perfected form of an idea or ideas. An idealist does not have consideration for material values of life. A thinker who idealizes mind and self is an idealist. Idealism is one of the oldest schools of philosophy. So, there are two types of idealism. Number one is absolute idealism. It is the one type which has found its way into educational philosophy. This lays down that the heart of reality is to be found in thought or reason. Reason is absolute. In fact, it is the absolute. Being absolute, it is also one, for example, monistic. Everything thus is interrelated and all contradiction reconciled. Furthermore, the complete cause of any single occurrence involves the whole or reality. This cosmos is great thought process, and the absolute is good thinking. Everything happens as a result of the self-willed idea. Example, absolute. The absolute is already complete and self-realized. Nature is the medium thought which the absolute progressively reveals itself in external form. Mind of man, however, is a part of the absolute whole. The absolute being the whole and education being part thereof, it may be that study of the fragment may reveal important facts of the totality. The centralistic approach to idealism on the whole has committed this educational philosophy to the prominent importance of consciousness. Number two is modern idealism. It has given a different tone of educational philosophy. In this concept, idealism more to do these ideas as mental state. Let's proceed to the 6 fundamental principles of idealism. Number 1 is two forms of the whole world. Idealism believes in two forms of the whole world, spiritual world and material world. Idealists give more importance to spiritual world in comparison to the material world. They believe that spiritual world are real and the ultimate truth, whereas the material world transitory and moral. According to the home, idealism holds that the order of the world is due to the manifestation in space and time of an internal and spiritual reality. Number two is ideas are more important than object. According to idealists, knowledge of mind and soul can be obtained through ideas only. They have given more importance to ideas over the object and materials or later. In the words of Plato, ideas are of the ultimate cosmic significance. They are rather the essence of archetypes which give more cosmos. These ideas are eternal and unchanging. Number three is importance of a man over nature. To idealists, man is more important than material nature. It is because man can think and experience about material objects and material phenomena. Hence, the thinker or the one who experiences is more important than the object or the phenomena experienced. Man is endowed with intelligence and sense of discrimination. Thus, he is not a slave or the environment as animals are, but the molds and transform the environment for his own good and welfare of the society. In short, he creates his own world of virtue and his creativity achieve higher and higher levels of art in many areas. Number four is the faith in spiritual values. According to idealists, prime aim of life is to achieve spiritual value, truth, beauty, and goodness. These spiritual values are undying, permanent. The realization of this value is the realization of God. In the pursuit of these absolute values, man rises higher and higher in the moral plane, till he attains divinity. For the achievement of these spiritual values, all the capacities of man are to be harnessed to the full. These capacities are knowing, feeling, and willing. Number five is important of personality and development. Idealistic give much importance to the self of the individual. Hence, they insist upon the fullest development of the personality of an individual. According to them, the development of personality means achievement of perfection. Plato rightly speaks that each individual has an ideal self. He tries to develop that ideal self more and more. The self-realization is the true sense of term. It may be noted that the self-realization means knowledge of the self or soul. This self-realization can only be achieved in society. Hence, development of the social qualities is very essential for self-realization as it expresses itself in the form of love, sympathy, fellow feeling, and cooperator for the good of all and discrimination among human beings on any basis of caste, creed, sex, race, or status, and etc. It clears the fact that idealism advocates the concept of universal education. In short, idealism believes in the welfare of a whole human community. Number six, the last one, is full support to the principle unity in diversity. Idealists give full support to the principle of unity in diversity. They believe this is the spiritual nature. This may be called universal consciousness or divinity. The process of education must lead to the deepest spiritual insight and to the highest moral and spiritual insight and to the highest moral and spiritual conduct. Let's move on to the contribution of idealism to education. Idealistic philosophy in education emphasizes the exaltation of personality, which is the result of self-realization, achieved by spiritual knowledge, self-disciplined, and dignified teacher. Idealism assigns a very important place to the teacher who is respected as a guide and philosopher. They emphasize the importance of moral and spiritual education and a point of out of values of humanities, social sciences, art, and literature. In conclusion, idealism may be considered to be outmoded in the prevailing scientific worldview. Idealistic concepts like spirit, mind, soul, and the cosmos have little relevance in the classroom teaching. This is too much emphasis on good manners and modesty which may be mistaken. It neglects child psychological nature. Idealism does not contribute to methods of teaching. It sets unobtainable goals. Idealistic scheme of education by and large pay attention to physical, industrial, social, and electronic environment of today. It neglects in social aspect of life. It overemphasizes humanity and underrates science and technology. In all, we can say that idealistic approach to education has its own merit and shortcomings. It should, therefore, be supplemented by other philosophy or philosophies of education. And that would be all. Thank you for watching.